Good morning. Welcome to episode 6 of XP Resto. So if you watched the last videos, if you haven't, go back and check them. But if you have watched them, you would have seen that after I painted it all and got the doors and guards rectified from the grave, I decided to sand the whole lot down again and paint it all again. So purely because the work that I've done on the car for the budget build wasn't as good as the doors and stuff came up. So I've put so much time and effort into it now. You know, obviously you do that in the first step all at once properly, but because we did a budget build sort of jobby, it wasn't supposed to be dead flat. It's just basically straighten it up a bit, put some paint on it, get it on the road and enjoy it, just for 99% of the viewers what they would do. So, but now we're at the stage where I've got it sanded, wet sanded outside. I've done a fair bit more hammer and dollying, as I said also in the last video, that I even feel that my skills have improved since when I first did the body and then the guards and then the doors. I feel like even now it's just like look how much more I've blocked out and you see all the bog and stuff exposed. So they've come a long way. I'm just going to go finish taping it up. I'm going to use some surface primer high build. Just spent the lovely morning taping up this old girl, which is always fun. But it's definitely looking a lot straighter, which is good. This is what I want. So we're going to get into that now and see if we can make it slightly better than before. Also, because we're nearly at 1,000 subscribers, as mentioned on all the details in my videos, the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, probably release a video on that after this or sometime in the next couple of weeks about the details. There we have it. I've done 2 coats of high build primer and I went around again with all the spots I know I have to sand and just give them another touch up. That's why you can see there's like a 3rd coat on top some spots. So when that cures off, I'll be doing all that sanding all again. But it is for a good cause because it's going to look schmick. And it does look pretty good in that grey. You can trust me when I say that I thought about just clearing this because it looks a nice grey. And to be honest, I'm thinking about doing that grey or that colour grey with stripes and stuff. The Mopar stripes on that, just to have like a pastel grey. You see it in the new SUVs and stuff. I think it's pretty cool. But this one, because I've already got the inside of the doors and stuff done, it's going blue again. So I just read a comment on episode 5, it made me laugh. Someone said the name for it should be U-Butte Blue Ute. Bit of a tongue twister. Okay, so I'm gonna let that cure. I've got a shit ton of jobs to do on the property and I'll be getting into that over this week, sanding that back. I've got that a mate's cruiser. He's got it fully sandblasted in the booth. So I've just epoxy primed all the doors and stuff, or most of the panels. I've got to do that job as well. So it's a 1980 something, first of the 75 series after the HJ47 I think. Anyway, so I'm doing this as well. I've got a few other jobs to do, but in your eyes it'll all happen at once. So the magic of media. We are back. And we are blocking once again. 2 coats of high build primer, that's all I needed. It's just the smallest amount of waves in those panels and stuff, and yeah, I'm just doing the bonnet's done and the guards, and yeah, it's coming up mint. I made a discovery. What I was doing was using this block and sanding away, and I just felt like it just could not get some of the waves out, and I think this is what's happened the whole time I've been blocking with this one. This one here, my old one, has broken handles, so I've been using this semi-new one. But I'm not blaming my tools, but I have found this has got a huge curve in it. Well, I say huge, but it's only touching on the ends, so when I'm sanding, it's not getting full contact. And yeah, even if I'm going upwards and downs or whatever, it's only touching on the ends. So I'll see if I can get this GoPro sitting where you can see that gap. And the old one, it's actually opposite. It's actually got a little bit of a curve in it, which I'd rather this than the other one. So I think it's pay attention of your tools, because you could be doing things 3 times as long and struggling because something that you don't check is not right. So I need to get some new blocks, and yeah, maybe that's why. So I'm going to try this other block and see if it works better. But it's coming up schmeck, this paint job, and the roof is just like glass. And this is just wax and grease remover, prep sol. Spray it on, let it level out. Takes a couple of seconds. Look at the reflection. There's no dents. That's what I do, is look for the trees maybe, and look for distortion. Like there's a bit when you get to that curve. It's just a curve. That's pretty good. Sanding sucks. Nah, right, been doing about 8 hours now, blocking this thing back. I'm using 240 grit on the first cut, and I go back to 320/400 depending on curvatures or flat parts. And then I'll probably go once over with the Orbi, just with 600 and the Scotch-Brite on the corners. That's the plan going forwards, but it is looking really good. A couple of rub through parts there from this high build back to the paint, which is fine because you can paint over old paint. There's anything that goes back to steel. I've got one little dent down there that popped through to steel, so I'm going to have to just touch it up with a bit of primer and then gently block it back. But it is coming up really straight, really straight. 2 coats of this high build, that's all I needed. And I think the main thing that I had wrong was this flaming block that was curved, so I was only touching on the ends as you saw earlier. So now I'm using another block. It is coming up pretty good, and like I'm not going to expect perfect show car for this body and panels, but it's pretty damn good. Again, as I said last video, would have been good to do all this at the start, but yeah, you got to keep the YouTubers happy. 40 hours was our goal, and we pretty much got there in the end, and it was a car that was worthy of the streets in my opinion. But we don't want to get rocks thrown at us. So, because I am selling this car, I want it to be, you know, someone to be proud of it when they drive it around. So for a semi-budget build, it's creeping up now in hours. My arms are jelly. Alrighty, so another fine morning. A few more days have passed, but I am going to reveal the booth. So we did a paint job yesterday on that XP. Look, came up pretty good. Had some issues with spider, like a spider fell down, like a decent sized one. His legs are stuck in the paint. A little bit of gunk came out of my gun during the second coat, but yeah, overall it's pretty good. It's definitely straighter than what it was, but there's still a few little dings and stuff that, I don't know, they're just troublesome. But yeah, I'm definitely happy that I've done it again, but it was a lot of effort for it. So next time I'm just going to start with straighter panels rather than trying to repair, you know, crinkled panels and all that sort of stuff. So the reveal, just pin this door back. So just finished untaping everything. Pretty good for an old 1965 model ute. Anyway, let's get it out in the sun, have a look. There we have it. Beautiful blue, just like before. So next, I guess we will be just putting the guards on, trying to align the guards and just the door fixtures so they shut, like latches and whatnot. I'm not sure how bad that wind is on the microphone. And then we've got to do something about the interior. There's only really the dash and that back parcel shelf that's going to be exposed, I guess. So at the end I might take that up and just give that a coat of blue on both of them. I've got a pole up at the moment about racing stripes, pretty heavily weighted on not doing them, to leave it all just blue. And I'll just do whatever you guys reckon. Like I said, I'm selling this car, so I've got no personal preference, so majority rules there. But if it does favour not to have them, I might do as a subscriber suggested ghost stripes just on the, even on the dash for like a feature. I think it has to be padded to get registered. Can't remember the rules on that, like at least this section. But on the section that is painted on the front, I might do some sort of custom stripe with yeah, some ghost stripes, like basically the same colour with like a few drops of black in it to have it slightly darker. I don't know, muck around with that, just learn a bit on that. But yeah, speaking of learning, I've learnt a lot just in this one resto, and with really bad panels. Like normally, you know, as most of you commented, like most of the people just chuck them away, and it's true, it's just easier and more cost effective to get better panels. But sometimes, you know, you got to use the old stuff, and it's a good learning curve anyway for me and for yourself if you give it a go. So overall it's come up pretty nice. Might get stuck into the bits and pieces and trims and bibs and bobs and doohickeys. Woosah, woosah. Yeah, I'm getting defeated. I'm trying to get these panels on. I'm having trouble with the bottom little tab that you're supposed to hook on, and the middle bolt on that one's missing. So the middle bolt on that one's there, but the bottom tabs not that good, so it's still a little bit flared out at the bottom. I still got a alignment screw to put in the bottom at the end, but this one took about an hour to get on, and this one over here can't even get it, so too worried about scratching the panels and stuff. So I don't know, it's giving me grief. So I don't know what to do. Even like the bolts where you bolt down the panel into the frame, they've got a nut that's sort of locked in place in the frame. Like you try to screw the bolt down and it sort of, well, actually two so far I've done it, that's not too bad, but they push the nut out of the holder and just spins in the spot. So both ones that go in the top right behind that door, either side, it sort of pushed the nut in, so it's just sitting there and I can't get to it. Yeah, it's beating me. It's defeating me today. I'm gonna have a break on it and do something else. So just want to get it to a point where I can sell it. Might even sell it as is. Let someone else finish it off with a bit more patience, because I've spent a lot of time on this thing. And I need to get some funds for this bad boy. So it's getting blasted in 2 weeks. So that's going to be a keeper. So I'd rather spend all my time and attention on that rather than finicky on a car that someone else will probably enjoy more doing up. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to put all the handles and stuff back on. And I'll put it on the marketplace, see what happens. For a semi-restored project. Yeah, so don't know. If you're keen, hit me up using my email and my either Facebook, or go onto my website and use my email there if you're interested. You want to come have a look at it. So maybe it's just the mood I'm in. I'll show you what I'm working on the jail bar. So this is the jail bar, 1942, ex-military. So he was using the war, so it's got the hatch on top. And the tub's from a Chevy. It's not staying, it's going to be replaced with a tub that will suit this model. But it's a 302 EFI 2001 AU Falcon. And as you can see, I am also struggling with wiring and trying to get this ECU hooked up. ECU has got a J3 chip installed, and now I'm just trying to figure out where and what I hook up to power and ground and whatnot. The engine harness plugged in, so that's obviously all the injectors and stuff, but I still need to run relays and fuses and thingamabobs and doozy hackers. So I'm also at my wit's end here, so that money from those other two projects will probably fund this to be dropped off to an auto electrician, as they're the professionals in this aspect and they can wire it all up for me. And there, this is going to be the shop truck, same as on the logo, but I'll have the teal green, but then I'll have it sanded through, and it will be patina look, because this body is pretty bad. It was rusty, no floor was in it when I got it. Replaced the floor, and you can see at the back it's just, got my liner plates on here. It's not going to be flat surface. You can just see it was just hammered. So I'd rather knock out what I can and then just have a teal sort of vintage look, and then sand it through, clear over that, have my logo on the side, and this will be my my little shop truck to get around in, which would be pretty awesome. That's a 440 big block that I did buy for the Charger, but now I might be putting that into the CM Valiant as a grandpa sleeper car. And while we're going on updates, here's a 360 Mopar block I got for out of a Dodge truck for the Charger. So this one's going to go on the Charger. It's going to be a lot easier to get it registered without mod plating it and all that stuff. So that's why these other two cars are going to fund this, probably that rebuild, and the Charger. So they're the main projects I'm working on. So I have a bit to do. Yeah. Good morning. So we're on the bonnet now. I wasn't going to do the underside of the bonnet or the engine bay because as a drive-by car, obviously you're not going to stop and show people, but because everything else has taken shape and it's becoming somewhat of a decent restoration, that this was the biggest thing letting it down. So I am going to, as you see, I'm attacking the bottom side of the bonnet, and then once this is done, I'll do the engine bay. And now I'm just going to do it in RAPTOR coat, not very heavy textured, but I'll thin it down a fair bit so it's got that hardiness of the tub liner of the RAPTOR coat, but I will have it so it's a little bit less texture, so it's not, everyone knows RAPTOR coat's good for covering up stuff, but I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be just like a hardy film of black. So basically, as you have seen, I hit with the wire wheel. I've taped it all up underneath and try to avoid the edges as much as I can with the wire wheel, but I've touched a bit along there. But what we're going to do is wire wheel and sand it. I hit it with 80 grit. You can use up 80, 120. It doesn't really matter as long as you get a lot of that loose stuff off and break up all that little surface rust. So there's bits and pieces. You see a little bit of pitting in here, not too deep. A little bit of surface rust along here that I've knocked back. So as always, I'm trying something different again. This one is called Furtan from Chemtech, and it's just in Repco. So I'll give that a go. Just same deal, you got to spray it down, keep it moist, and then wash it off or wipe it off with a rag. So I'm going to give that a go. The steps I'll be doing is sanding, blow it off, vacuum like I've done now, hit it with a whole lot with this rust converter. I'm going to let that cure the rust, turns into ferric tennate, that's the technical term that we all will forget, and it can be welded, plated or painted, which is good. So technically it can be underneath the primer. So this, I'm going to wipe it down with a rag when it's done, and if it's all converted then we're happy. Then I'm going to prime it. Then I use seam sealer to reattach all these braces. You can see they're not really attached anymore. So I'll just wedge them up, put seam sealer along, let it sit back down, let that cure, and then I'll RAPTOR coat it. That's the process. I'm going to give this a go. When that's finished, I'm going to go across to the Falcon and attack the engine bay. Give that half an hour and come back and have a look. We are back after a delicious breakfast. Scrambled eggs, bacon, you know. So you can see now, everywhere that's actually black was where there was surface rust or exposed metal. And it's worked wonders. That's good stuff, actually. That's converted that to that black, ooh, that hard black, whatever the name was. So now I'm gonna wipe it down, get all the residual liquid off. It's still puddling. Get all that off, then I'll get a spray of water and then wipe it down again so it's nice and clean. And then I'm gonna prime it. And when that's dry, seam sealer. Thanks for following me along with this journey in the XP Falcon. If you really liked that Resto chain of videos, let me know in the comments, because instead of doing random stuff here and there, I might just stick to one car. To do up the Charger, definitely, you'll see a lot of that. And anyway, thanks for your support and help in this XP Resto. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, a lot of time and effort into this old girl. Hopefully someone will purchase it and finish off the Resto and enjoy it for another 50 years, so that'd be pretty cool. Anywho, Twisted Metal Customs, Slogs, signing out. Till next video. Thanks for watching.